I'm going to use this. Now, they say charity begins at home. And I believe that firmly. I come from a large family. 7 billion cousins, one love. According to Emily, it's that thing with feathers. And thanks to all who played today and those who attend tonight, it will not be fettered, contained, constrained, or tethered, but damned if it won't take flight. We rhyme, we sing, each little word a feather, and feathers make wings when meshed together. And if wings provide lift and loft provides height, then height provides perspective to recognize and act upon what's right. So here's a prospect. Cranes against Mount Fuji. In a print by Hokusai, 2 have flown, and 5 stand round, intent on something they have found in a bare patch on the ground. And Tancho, as he's known, is meant to live 1,000 years. He's a symbol of luck and happiness with his crimson crown. But this spring, his migration, his northern peregrination, the journey a nation relied upon to mark the season off and plant its crops, is lost in a human evacuation. And the only cranes we see are twisted gantries of ruined ports and building sites in a country reduced to its foundations. And these 5 cranes are 1 in 10 for the 50 men who stood their ground, the anonymous ones who risked the damage of low blood count, neurological disorder, cutaneous ravages, the itching, the blistering, the atrophy, fibrosis, the ulceration, hemorrhaging, and ultimately necrosis. And though they toil at Fukushima 1, that's not the only place. For the other 2 have taken off on a mission of charity and grace. And just as cherry petals can fall and scatter in a radioactive wind, so too can feathers drop from an optimistic wing. Elsewhere, they've broken ground on temporary shelters, conceded it's just the start amongst the thousands that are needed. But they have the bricks, and they have the trucks, and the calls aren't going unheeded. And babies were born amidst the rubble, and families are being reunited, and despite their plight they labor and are not swayed, because they know that a rising sun will fall upon the night, and its troubles, and its pain, and in union nothing can dissuade those who have only to gain. Bento are being made, prayers are being prayed, there's surgery by candlelight, calisthenics for the uptight, blankets for the cold, comfort for the old, water for the young, and now that life has sprung, any size of grief will be diametrically opposed by the size of our relief. I hear a flutter from within a jar. Once Pandora opened it, and a world of ills spread wide and far before she sealed it. But one thing alone remains there still, a fluttering that will not be stilled or silenced or concealed. It's time for it to be revealed. So come, the world is crying out for us to smash the lid and let hope come flying out. Memorize that or anything like that. It's still pretty fresh. This, on the other hand, is a little something that I inflicted upon the fine folks at Sounds last week, and if anybody was not there then, you're in for a bit of a rerun of something that was a bit, let's have a bit of fun. By the way, I shake a lot ever since I quit smoking at 17. This is about boundaries, okay? Self-imposed walls that we erect, ways we limit ourselves and define one another. Line Rider. Oh, and by the way, if you don't know what Line Rider is the most addictive little etch-a-sketchy kind. It's insane. Ride the line and make a sign. Scribble down your own design, one that happily defines the boundaries twixt yourself and mine. No room for filigree, no place for calligraphy, no mandala, no Kabbalah, but something simple and round, a scratch on the ground that will keep you bound in fearful complacency. Hold the line, don't break it up. With shears and tears. Don't botch it with blotches and ellipsis dots. Or take up arms against your nose to spite that interface. But with your bare hands, make lines in the sand, dredge a moat to float your boat, and while you're at it, tote your goat by the scrote. Then slit its throat for the sake of a made-up venial sin to keep the heathens out and the chosen in. So I ask, lest these words remain unspoken, must that circle remain unbroken? Can lines not change tack and intersect, bisect, bisexual and intersex, the sexy, the plain, the crazy, the sane, the rich, the poor, the happy, the doer? The tall and short of it is, I can't draw that line, much less walk it, toe the line or talk it, toe the party line or take the party line on a party line at a time where there's no landline but the ether, the sublime. So I go online and I move my vowels with a big-ass bowl of optical fiber, shining a light at the semicolon, dumping some karma with a well-placed comma, a little bit of trauma to kick your coma. And if you pull rank to show your might, well then I'll pull pranks to set things right. And I'll be frank, it will smell rank when I fill the bag and set it alight, then ring your bell and run like hell as you come a-gunning in your pink fuzzy slippers, a turd skipping, a bird flipping, and an ego tripping. So be prepared, you could be next. I'll drop you a little line of text to let you know what to expect when you hear your doorbell chime. It's not the postman every time, but this old clown who won't leave town, this cuckoo who will not fly the coop till he's gone postal with his mad rhymes. A gesticulating jester who proclaims, declaims, and declares for the deranged, for those who remain on the wrong side of the rope, the ones without a shred of hope or dignity or vanity or sanity, and hear nothing but profanity. The depressed, the oppressed with FAS and OAS, the manic in a panic, the unemployed, schizoid, paranoid, humanoid with hemorrhoids, greeting the dawn with a stifled yawn, only to find his power's not on and his foot bank account is overdrawn. So don't forgive me if I'm out of line, if I bum a pair of dimes while I change your paradigms, or if our good friend the MC says I'm running out of time. It's just me, and that's my line.